morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the common people of Tube. Hope you are today, hope you're feeling grand, and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Today, I only have time for 4 questions, as today is going to be a little bit manic. So, I'm filming this one proper early, and I've only got a chance for 4 questions, because it's just going to be one of those days today. So, I'm against the time, which I hate being against time, because I want to spend time doing this. Anyway, okay, so let's dive into question 1 today, shall we? Yeah. Okay, so question 1 today is there an easier way to make the Vox V847 Silvertop wah turn on? Yeah, I know what you mean. Under the foot pedal, the tread plate, if you will, at the front end, the toe down, the toe position. If you look underneath there, there's 2 little rubber feet that stick down like this. So if that's the foot thing. That's the foot plate, sorry. You've got these 2 rubber kind of like spacers that hang below the foot plate. Remove them. I learnt this from Randy Hansen, and if you don't know who Randy Hansen is, type in Randy Hansen on YouTube. It'll blow your mind. It's terrifying. I'm not going to say any more, but yeah, look up Randy Hansen, seriously. I learned it from Randy Hansen, and Randy Hansen learned it from Jimi Hendrix. So, and he just makes the Vox just turn on so easily. But it's not particularly, you know, you do have to learn to kind of like, you know, not turn it off. But it just makes it ridiculously more cooperative. I think that's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, look under the tread plate. Look for these 2 rubber little feet spacer things, and just remove them. Just pull them off. Mine came off really easily. I did have another Vox, which I had to cut them off with a knife. And if you do that, please be careful. Watch your fingers. But on my main Vox wah, I just pulled them off. They just came off really easily. Either whatever glue or double-sided tape they used, it just gave way really easily. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. That's what I've done to all my wah-wah pedals, apart from the Ibanez wah down there, because it's a different animal altogether. But I did it to my Crybaby. I did it to my Vox first. But yeah, so that's what I'd recommend. I did it to my Roto Vibe as well, actually. I did it. My Roto Vibe had the same thing. It was quite hard to turn on and off, and I like to be able to just kind of like click it, you know, and think, I need to get the Roto Vibe out again. I love the Roto Vibe. It's been in a box for far too long. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Look under the tread plate, foot plate thing, and look for the rubber feet at the front, at the toe position of the pedal. There'll be 2 little rubber feet, and get rid of them. Just remove them totally, and happy days. Okay, so yeah, hope that answers the question. I hope that helps, and we move on to question 2. That was a very quick answer. That was a very quick answer. It was a Nesquik answer. Okay, moving along. Is that copyright? I don't know. I don't know what copyright even falls under anymore. Anyway, question 2. I'm not bitter. Okay, question 2. What would your budget pedal board for gigging? What would your budget pedal board for gigging be if you already had a Boss Katana 50, a Boss DS2, a looper pedal, and a wah pedal? Would you substitute pedals for effects on the Katana? So would you use the effects on the Katana instead of getting other pedals? Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, you have my budget pedal board there. That would be what I would happily go to a gig with. Just that. That would be it for me. You were contemplating getting a the foot switch to the Boss Katana so you can switch between channel 1 and channel 2. I would probably recommend, well, I think any foot switch works on the Katana 50. I think I seem to remember my PV foot switch. I had an old PV foot switch which I didn't know I had. That worked on the Katana 50 to switch channels. So any kind of like, you know, channel selecting foot switch should work on a Katana 50. I would have that as well, just so what I could do is I could set channel 1 to be rhythm and channel 2 to be lead. So you have 2 different volumes. So when you do solos, you poke out a little bit further, volume-wise. But and maybe a little bit on the EQ. I was maybe a little bit more mid, maybe. I don't know. Probably not for me. But yeah. That is pretty much my budget pedal board. What I would do is I would run into the brown mode on the Katana 50, set the brown mode clean, and that would be my kind of clean tone. And then I would use, then I'd have the wah-wah pedal. Well, it'd come from the Katana to the looper to the wah to the DS2 to my guitar. I think I got that the right way around, didn't I? For the first time ever, I think I got that the right way around. Anyway, is that the right? I don't know. It's probably wrong. I don't know. But yeah, that is pretty much my budget pedal board. I would go to a gig with just that, like I say, and it'd be amp, looper, wah, DS2, guitar. And then, yeah, for other effects, like if I had to use chorus for a song, I would just go back to the amp and turn it on when I needed it. Delay, again, I think if I had to use delay in a song, I would just use the inbuilt delay on the Katana. The inbuilt effects on the Katana are just stunning. I was talking to my dad about this the other day, and I was talking about the Katana. I was just boring him to death with guitar talk. And I was just saying how the Katana, especially the Mark 1. Oh, by the way, everybody, I've sold my Mark 2, so there will be no more videos on the Mark 2 because I got angry at it. My friend Dan can attest to how angry I got at it. I was using it for rehearsal, and I was just so. I have played that thing in and in and in, and it just never seemed to sound as good as the Mark 1. It just never got the depth of sound, the warmth and the clarity. It just didn't get there. It's a great sounding amp. The Mark 2 was a great sounding amp, but the Mark 1 just was better in my opinion. But again, that's my opinion. I know there's a lot of people out there who love the Mark 2 more, which is cool. But for me, it didn't work. So I've sold my Mark 2 everybody. So there'll be no more videos with the Mark 2 Katana because it just didn't work out. It didn't work out. I'm sticking with my Mark 1s. Okay, so anyway, back to the question at hand. That was a tangent. Okay. I need to get some Tangent Boy t-shirts printed up. Okay, so yeah, that is my budget pedal board. And like I say, if I had any other effects I wanted to use, I would just get them from the Katana. Delay, chorus, octave divider, reverb. I would have reverb on all the time though, off the Katana, which is weird that I use reverb now. I didn't use reverb for about, when was it, 2007? 9 years. I didn't use reverb for 9 years. Just dry. I had totally dry guitar tone. And it wasn't until about 2014, 15, 16, give or take, I can't actually think of when it actually kind of phased. It was somewhere around there. I started using reverb again, and now I love it too much to get rid of it. It's one of those effects. Well, I don't always use it, but I use it quite a lot of the time. It's definitely like a 70-30 split. I had to do quick maths then. Not very good at that. Anyway, I would definitely substitute getting more effects pedals for just Katana effects, definitely. And yeah, that would be my budget pedal board. I'd be quite happy with those three pedals. A looper, a DS2, and a wah-wah pedal, and a Katana 50. I would happily go to a gig with that any day of the week. And I'll just use the DS2 for my distortion tone and my lead tone. And I'll just, like, you know, I'll say I would. The only other pedal I would have is like something that I could channel switch with the Katana, just so I could set the different volumes, so I could have a solo boost. But other than that, yeah, that's it. For what that's worth, that you kind of like have my budget pedal board there. You also asked, are you still using the acoustic channel on the Katana for pedals? Yes, yeah. I'll never not use the acoustic channel for my pedal board. Or my Line 6 HX. Forever and a day, I will use that setting on the Katana 50 or the 100 Mark 1. It just... The way my pedal boards are configured, it just works best into them. It kind of works into the clean channel. But there is... when I run my pedals into a clean channel, there's a... like a flubbiness to the low end. It's kind of like kind of noise, and especially when I palm mute, The acoustic channel gets rid of that totally, and when I palm mute on the acoustic channel, it's just a very clear, crisp, clean sound. And yeah, it's just a lot nicer. The clarity is there. There's not too much low end, but there's enough. And also considering I run the bass off on the acoustic channel, if I wanted more, I've got it. You know what I mean? I just love. I can't understate how much I love the Katana. I really can't. I'm actually going recording today. I'm doing a just a little recording session for a friend at his studio. I was going to film it, but then I'm recording cover songs, so I can't because of copyright, and especially the songs I'm doing that I can imagine they'll definitely get flagged. They're, you know, Nights in White Satin and Road to Hell by Chris Rea, so it's like, you know, they're definitely going to get flagged for copyright. Because I was going to film it as like a little studio vlog thing, but I can't because I can't play those songs on camera and get away with it, because it'll just be like, ugh, we've got you now, David. It'll be like a bit creepy. And anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I'll always use the acoustic channel on Katanas. It just sounds best for the way I set my pedal boards up. I can imagine it won't work for everyone's pedal board, but I do love it. It works really well for me, and yeah, I just love it. Katanas, oh, good gravy! Those things are ridiculous. I'm recording with the Katana 50 today. I'm taking my Katana 50, my Line 6 HX, and I'm gonna take a 62 Strat and my Telecaster. Just they're the guitars that leap out at me today. That's what I'll be using. Anyway, that's another tangent. Okay, moving along. But yeah, I do that. And again, coming back to a thing, that is my budget pedal board. That is exactly what I would be using if, you know, if I was limited to kind of like, you know, this is what you got. That's what I would have. Also, to add one more pedal into the loop, just because I would like it there, I would probably add my Zoom G2 .1U in the Zoom down there. Where is it? There it is. I'm trying to point at it backwards. I'd probably add that actually as well. I'd probably get hold of like something like a multi-effects unit, like a Zoom, and all I would do is have it bypassed, and I'd probably use that for the solo, the volume level jump, just instead of the Katana. Then you wouldn't have to channel switch on the Katana. And then also, if you did want other effects, they're at your feet instead of kind of like going back to the amp. So probably the only other pedal I would add to that would be like a Zoom. That would probably be the only thing I would add. But other than that, I'd be quite happy with what you've got, to be honest with you. That would make me very, very happy. Especially running to the Katana. You know, those things are just silly. Absolutely silly. They've got everything you ever need. In all fairness, I could go to a gig with just the Katana and be a happy little bunny. So I don't need to add extra kind of little... I would like a wah-wah pedal. But if I didn't have a wah pedal, I wouldn't cry about it, because I just love them. I love them. My 100 watt is permanently set up downstairs in the Caravaggio room, as I'm starting to call it. Just because it's that amp that not only does it work for live recording, studio, blah 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 blah, just plugging straight into it, you can never fail to find the sound you want, and I just love that. I love that so much. I can get a univibe out of the phaser. I can get enough gain when I want it. I can get the reverbs I want. I can get the volume I want. I can get the clean up I want. It's just perfection. It really is perfection. Okay, so yeah. So I hope that's a question. Moving on to question 3 now. I've really got to be aware of time. This is annoying to say the least. Ugh, I hate being against time. We're all against time, man. Time is everywhere. Okay, so question 3 is, if you were doing covers in a cover band, how would you approach it with your tones? Would you try and emulate that tone of the original recording, or would you use your sound? I've always just been of the brain pan of just use your sound. I know there's a lot of people who will go out there trying to kind of like emulate all different sounds. So if you're doing Sweet Child of Mine, you'll try and emulate that Appetite for Destruction tone. Then if the next song on your list is Living on a Prayer, you'll try and emulate that. And if the next song you do is Teenage Kicks, then you'll try and emulate that. you know. But for me, I find that's just far too impossible, and I don't find joy in that so much. I mean, I love going after individual tones in my own time, but when it comes down to playing live, I don't want to be using a tone that I'm not particularly comfortable with. So if I'm playing covers live, I just use my sound. I just use this lot down here, or my HX. Which I always point at things off camera, but the HX is over there, everybody. So just so you know what, I'm not pointing just randomly like, yes, and I use this, and then that, and then maybe this. No, it's a bit weird. But yeah, I would just use my own sound. So I wouldn't really be interested in trying to emulate Slash's tone or whatever, you know what I mean? I'll just use my own sound. And just kind of like, you know, that'd be what I'd do. You also asked, from your experience, how do you sit in a live mix and also cut through? Mid-range. Mid-range is a key to cut when you are playing live. Not treble, not bass. If you get too much of a bassy big sound, the guitar can disappear because it just joins the bass guitar. If you get too much of a trebly fizzy sound, it's going to be really, really harsh, and it'll be thin, and it'll be a really wispy sound, and it won't cut through at all. It just kind of like sit in a nothing land. So you want to be focusing on the mid range. You know, if you graphic EQ straight like that, you know, you want that kind of hump, so to say, in the mids. That's where the electric guitar sits. To me, anyway, that's where I believe it sits. So that's what I've always focused on, mid-range. I love mid-range guitar tones. I have always loved mid-range. I don't like treble, as you well know. I don't need to talk about that. Bass, you've got to be careful of. Recently, I've been running no bass on all my amplifiers. So my Katanas, my CR120 and my Marshall MGs, the bass is turned all the way down as well. The only dial I'm using is mids, EQ wise, and when I'm running my pedalboard into my MG, I normally have mid set at 7, so it's really high. Other than that, I don't use anything else. Same with the Katanas as well, and the CR120s. You know, I don't really push things too far. It's always a lot of mids. Mids are always normally over 12 o'clock for me, or when I'm using my pedals. When I'm straight in, EQ's normally on 0. But yeah, so it's all about mids. It's all about the mids, man. To cut through, you need that kind of vocal human quality thing to sit in the mix, because you've got to find your sonic space. And I could talk about that for hours, and I've got to be careful I don't, because I don't have the time today, and that's really, really frustrating me. But yeah, you've got to think about the mid-range. That's where you sit. That's why I always have boosted mids, no treble, not a great deal of bass, if any bass, just because you're not clashing with the cymbals, you're not clashing with the bass. You sit where you need to sit, so to say. So focus on your mids. That normally helps. Gives you cut, but keeps the warmth. It's not harsh and nasty and fizzy, and it's not going to hurt people, because you've always got to be aware of that. I always feel, when you're playing live, you've got to be aware of how your guitar tone has to be a nice listening sound. It doesn't want to be shrill and cutting, because you're going to hurt people. You're going to, you know, it's not good for people to hear a shrill cutting guitar tone. You know, they're not going to like it. It's not good for them. You know, you've got to be aware that, you know, the audience watching, they want to be able to watch it, and they don't want their ears ripping off with loads of treble. So yeah, just mids. Focus on the mids more than anything, and kind of go from there, really. So yeah, I could talk about that for hours, but I can't today, sadly. So I do apologise immensely. I'm sorry. But okay, so moving on. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so the last part of question 3 is, what's your opinion on Japanese Fenders? I love Japanese Fenders. Japanese guitars in general are just wicked. They're absolutely amazing. They are built so well. There's so much care and attention put into them. There's so much... Oh, they're just wicked. They're just wicked. I love them. Like, I own a few Japanese-made guitars. The best one is definitely the Tokai, the Gold Star, the Gold Star sound. Yeah, that one, the Tokai. Because although I do own another, I've got another Ibanez. I've got the 70s Ibanez Natural Strat, which again is stunning. I have a Japanese. My brother used to have a Japanese-made Jaguar, Fender Jaguar, and that was just heaven as well. I love Japanese Fenders. I love Japanese guitars. I have a massive, massive soft spot for Japanese-made guitars. Either it be Tokai, Ibanez, especially the old Ibanez stuff. It's gorgeous. You know, Taisco guitars, stuff like that. They're just amazing. They're just absolutely amazing guitars. I love them to bits. So they all have character as well, and you don't get that with some other guitars, and I like it. I like, you know, it's just really, really cool. Yeah, I love Japanese Fenders. I think they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant guitars. And I say my Tokai, that thing is just a constant inspiration. It feels exactly like a 64 Strat, which is terrifying because it's just absolutely perfect for the feel, the sound, the way it looks. It's so bob on for like a 64. It's terrifying. And being a spoilt brat, I've been lucky enough to play a real 64, so and that one really sticks in my head. I remember everything about that guitar, and the Tokai is a carbon copy. It's terrifying, but yeah, awesome, absolutely awesome guitars. Japanese Fenders, Japanese anything. They're just wicked guitars. So yeah, I hope it's answered your question. We have to move on to the final question today, question 4. Yeah, I've got to crack on. Okay, so final question of the day, everybody. I do apologise for the kind of shortness of this Q&A. I can't say it's really short. It's not, but okay. So question 4. When you started playing guitar, were you reluctant to play with others, or were you looking forward to it? Oh yeah, I was looking forward to it. I love playing with other people, but I'll get to something in a minute because you touch on it in a minute. So I don't want to talk about it too much at this point in time. But yeah, when I first started playing guitar, I couldn't wait to get out there and play with other people and get in a band and start gigging and playing live and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I loved it. I couldn't wait. It was just very exciting for me, and that's all I wanted to do, and that's all I still want to do. It's just play live, you know. So yeah, I mean, it was something I always wanted to do. So yeah, I was never reluctant to do it at all. Never reluctant. Yeah, so yeah, when I first started playing, I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's get a band. I don't care who I play with. Let's just play. So yeah, so I loved it. You also asked, does insecurity go when you start playing with others? No, insecurity is always there. I get insecure now. I mean, I'm sure some people it'll go, but for me, no, I don't think it does go. If you're an insecure person, you're an insecure person. Depending on what it is you're insecure about, you're playing, your persona, you know, not wanting to move or whatever it may be. You know, you just got to embrace it. You just got to, like, you know, just accept it for what it is and just kind of, like, you know, and move with it. Don't fight it. You know, if you are insecure about your playing, then just play what you're comfortable with. Play what you know you can play. Don't overreach. You know, just play within your means, and you know, and the same with everything really. You know, if you don't want to dance around the stage, just stand. You know, stand still. You know, you don't have to dance around the stage if you don't want to. You know, just do what you're comfortable with. I always think, you know, everyone's insecure about something. You know, everyone's got some insecurity at some point. So, you know, don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. Don't let it hinder you in what you do, or what you want to do, should I say? So just yeah, don't worry about it. If insecurities happen, everyone's insecure about it. Even if they don't say they are, even if they don't appear to be insecure, there will be something they're insecure about. Everybody is human nature. There's nothing we can do about that. We are designed and built that way. So yeah. Again, I could talk about that for hours, but I can't because I'm running out of time. You also asked, what did you feel then to now about making music with others? Right, and this is where I'm going to try not to tangent here because I have about 10 minutes, and I've still got another question. Well, not another question, but another part of question 4 to go. Okay, so what did I feel then to now? I'm a lot more aware of who I play with. Back in the day, I would just kind of play with anyone, and it would lead to frustration, stress, and all sorts of other problems. And I still fall into those traps today because I just love to play, and I get myself right into the I get myself into the deep end sometimes, and I've got to try and find my way out of it somehow. And unfortunately, sometimes the only way you can get out of the deep end is by upsetting someone, which is not fun. But you have to do, at the end of the day, you have to kind of do what's right for you. You can't be in a situation where you're not happy, especially in a band situation, because you won't play properly. I've been in bands where I hate this. Literally, I hate this. I don't want to. It's not the fact I hate playing music, and it's not the fact I hate the people I'm playing with. It's just the vibe's wrong. It feels wrong for me. It's like I shouldn't be here. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. And I've left a lot of bands because of that, because it doesn't feel right. You know, it comes down to that. You've got to go by what feels right and what feels wrong. You know, you've got to be very true to that, because if you're not, then you end up in trouble. You know what I mean? And I've done it a million times, and it's not a good idea. You know, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. You've got to feel it, and if it's not there, it's not there. Don't force it. There's no point trying to force anything. You know what I mean? If it's not there, it's not there. It's like what Mitch Mitchell said about the Jimi Hendrix band at Woodstock. You know, he said to him, you know, as much as Jimmy loved it, and Billy Cox loved it, and Joey Velez loved it, and Juma Sultan loved it, and Larry Lee loved it, Mitch hated it. He said it wasn't there, the vibe wasn't there for him. Didn't enjoy it one bit, not 1 second. And I've been there, and I'm sure a lot of us have been there, where you're playing with a band and you're just like, this isn't it for me. This isn't it. And now I don't actually have a band. You know, it is kind of like, you know, it's a bit naff, really, to be honest with you. And also because I struggle to find gigs these days as well. I mean, I can't get gigs. It's as simple as that. You know, I've been struggling to get gigs for ages. I mean, I can get gigs at kind of like the places I've played before, and I'm really grateful to those venues. But I don't have a band to gig, you know, and I can't go out doing a 2-hour show of me looping guitar, because pub crowds wouldn't enjoy that. You know what I mean? I can't go out doing 2 hours of what I love to do. You know, the music I love to play. You know, that John Frusciante inspired stuff. Even with singing, I don't think, you know, people wouldn't be receptive to it, especially not a pub crowd. You know, they'd want to hear Living on a Prayer or Wonderwall. You know, and if the crowd's not there, you can't gig. You know, if you can't pull people into it, you know, no one's gonna book you. So it's a bit of a pig where I'm at, really, to be honest with you, because I've kind of pretty much given up on live performance, and that really upsets me, to be honest with you. I've kind of given it up, and I'm still playing live with me and my friend Dan. We're still doing a couple of gigs this year, but not many. I think in all I've got 3 gigs this year, and I've already done 1, so I've got 2 left, and that's it. That's heartbreaking, because I love playing live. I love playing for people. I love connecting with people through music. I'm lucky in the fact I get to connect with you. That saves me more than anything. You know, this saves me more than anything, because I know my music can connect with you out there. But yeah, so thank gravy for that more than anything. It makes me a very happy bunny knowing that my music can still get out there one way or another, you know what I mean? Instead of it just kind of like stagnating in either this room or in me. You know, it makes me a lot happier knowing that it's out there. And but yeah, coming back to the whole band situation, a tangent. It's okay, we've got a bit of time. But yeah, a tangent again. But yeah, so you know, what I learned is basically you gotta go by what's right for you. If something feels wrong, then you need it. You know, if it feels wrong, it's wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I've been in many bands where I'm like, this band's really awesome, but I don't belong in it. You know, or I just don't belong here. I need to go somewhere else, and I've quit. Because it's just the way it goes. It just feels that way. You know, I don't regret it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where if I look back, I don't regret those decisions, because I still feel it was right. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I will mull those things over for days and months until I come to the conclusion of, yeah, I shouldn't be there. This isn't for me. This isn't for me. I don't want to be doing this. This is wrong. You know, this is It's not hindering me, but it's just not what I want to do. You know, this isn't where I want to be. So, so you've got to go by what's right for you. You in a band. If it feels wrong, probably is. You know, you've got to be true to yourself. You know, unfortunately, sometimes being true to yourself upsets other people. But you know, you can't. You know, you can't make yourself unhappy just so other people, you know, sometimes can be. If that makes any sense, you've got to think about yourself sometimes. You know, you've got to be selfish sometimes. Unfortunately, you know, it's not a perfect world, and we're not perfect human beings. And unfortunately, sometimes if something's making you miserable, no matter how much it's making others happy, you know, you can't keep forcing it, because the problem with that is it's false. And if it's false, then people will pick up on that. They'll know. They'll know you're not enjoying it. You know, body language screams it all. You can fake it all you want, but people know. In the body language, it's in the way you are. So you've got to be honest, because if you're not honest, people will know. And if people know, they'll pick up on it. And if they pick up on it, you're done. You know what I mean? It's like if you look at John Frusciante, during the Blood Sugar Sex Magic tour era, he didn't want to be there. He'd had enough. He was done. So he just looks moody, hunched, can't be bothered. Still plays like a demon, but can't be bothered. Just does whatever he wants to do. And if you look at John Frusciante during when he came back at Californication era, he's happy, smiling and loving it. And then if you shoot forward to 2007, 2008, when John left again, he's back to that moody, he's got his back to the band, doesn't really move off his wah-wah pedal much, because he just has he's not interested in interacting. He's done. You know, he's done. Same with Jimi Hendrix. There's an amazing gig of Jimi Hendrix at Stockholm. I think it's still on YouTube, unless Janie Hendrix has got a grubby little mitts on that as well. But there's a gig of Jimi Hendrix in Stockholm, and Jimmy didn't want to be there. And you can tell he didn't want to be there. And I don't think it's a particularly good show. You know, he plays well, but you can tell he's not trying. You can tell he's not putting his all into it. Not like when he plays at Woodstock. You know what I mean? You know, it's not. He's not doing that. It's not that level. You know, Jimmy's not happy. And when Jimmy's not happy, you can tell, because he's just honest about it. And you can tell in that Stockholm gig, he's not happy. Especially when he has to play Voodoo Child and stuff like that. And he's just not, it's not there for him. You know, he's not happy with his sound. He's not happy with any of it. He wants to go. And when they finish, he just walks off. People are asking for more. He's gone. You know what I mean? He's halfway down the road. So you've got to be honest with yourself. Like I say, unfortunately, sometimes you have to upset people to do what's right for you. You know, you can't always think about others, sadly. That's the painful fact of life, is you can't always protect and make others happy at the expense of your happiness. There are points in your life where you're going to have to upset people so you can be happy. You know what I mean? And that is important. It's quite harsh, but you know, at the end of the day, sometimes, especially if things are going well. But the fact of the matter is, you've got to be true. You know, if you're not enjoying it and you can't get the motivation up to do it, and it's just like, oh, it's just a chore. It's like, ugh, you know, don't do it. Don't put yourself through it. It's not worth it for you on your own mental psyche and everything you are. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't do it. It's damaging. It's dangerous. You know, like I say, sometimes, you know, you just have to upset people, sadly. If they want you to stay in the band but you don't want to be there, then they just have to understand that it's not for you. You know, there has to be that understanding. There has to be that understanding. You know, it invariably turns to anger and frustration at you if you leave a band that's going well, this, that and the other. And it's like, oh, you've ruined us and this, that and the other. Well, you know, now we can't do anything because of you, and people can blame you and all they want. But the fact of the matter is, you know, you do have to be a little bit selfish sometimes. You know, no one should enjoy being selfish, but unfortunately, for your own sake, sometimes you have to. You know, it's especially with music. Sometimes, you know, it's such a personal thing, and if you're not feeling it, crikey, it makes it hard. It really makes it difficult. You've got to be happy. And if you're not happy, then you need out. You know, I mean, John Frusciante is a classic example of that. You know, he really is. Jimi Hendrix, watching Jimmy is a classic example of that. You know, there's so many people over the years who have quit things that, like, you know, seem like, you know, why the hell would you quit that? Because, you know, they're not happy. You know, you've got to do it for the right reasons, obviously. I mean, you can't just be like, you know, oh, well, I want to go and live in a cave in the Alps. Well, I don't know, that's a pretty good reason to me. But yeah, you've got to do it for the right reasons. You've got to be honest. You've got to be totally honest with the reasons you're leaving, you know, or you don't want to do something. You know, you've got to analyse it, you've got to think about it, and you've got to really talk it through with people and make sure you're not making a mistake. Because you don't want to quit a band and then 2 months down the line go, oh, why did I do that? You know, you want if you leave a situation 2 months down your line, you want to be like, yeah, that was still the right choice. You know what I mean? You want to be of that brain pattern. It's like, you know, yeah, it was hard, it was horrible, they don't talk to me anymore because of this, but I had to do what was right for me because whatever, you know what I mean? You got to be honest. So that's what I feel then to now is, you know, I've learned a lot. I've played in so many bands. I've done so many gigs with so many different personalities and humans. And what I learned is it's got to be there. It's got to be right. You know, you've got to be around the right group of people. And unfortunately, sometimes the right group of people turns out to be the wrong group of people as time progresses. Because everyone changes, you know, like in a way, you know what I mean? Things come in and upset dynamics and stuff like that, and things alter. Rick Mail once said that change is a constant, so you never want to lose your wisdom, and that is so true. You know, change happens all the time. There's nothing you can do about change. It just happens, and that's just the way it goes. So you've just got to be aware of it and use your experience and your wisdom to go with it and understand what's right, what's wrong. And like I say, sometimes it's got to be what's right for you and you alone. You know, you do have to think about yourself sometimes. It's nice to be selfless and think of others and do for others and all this, that and the other. But there does come a point where you have to do things what's right for you. You just have to. There's no other way about it, really. So yeah. So for whatever that's worth, I don't know if any of that made sense. But yeah, I don't know if that made any sense. But hopefully it did. The last part of question 4 is it different to play alone to play with others? Yeah, it definitely is. When you're playing alone, it's totally different to playing with others. Connecting with people is awesome, especially when you're playing music. It's one of the best things in the world. When it's right. When it's wrong, it's horrific and it doesn't work. Coming back to what I just said, if you can't connect, then it's just an uphill battle. It's just a struggle. And I've been there so many times where you're just trying to find something. You're trying to find a reason for being where you are and you can't find one. And it's like, why? Why do I have to now quit? Yeah, it's a bit annoying. But again, you have to do what's right for you. But it is different to play alone to play with people, definitely. Oh my god, I'm late. Okay, so, sorry everyone. I'm going to have to end it there because I have to go out for hours. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A, everybody. If you want to submit a question to Q&A Wednesday, description box below, there's an email link. Email me there with your question, and I will get to it eventually. I'm still in December, but I'm getting to late December now. In the questions, so we're nearly in January, so I'm getting there. So if you submit a question in late December or January, then I will get to it. I'm slowly catching up, but yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope there's something, I hope I answered questions okay. I hope there's something you can take away from it. And yeah, have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. I'll see you on Friday for another vid. And yeah, goodbye now. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.